Hello everybody, welcome on 18th episode of Cyphercast. Cyphercast is podcast hosted by CypherDog and my today's guest is Paweł Mączka. Hello Paweł.
Hello. Hello Przemek. Hello everyone.
Hi. Tell me something about you. Please introduce yourself.
Okay, so a few words. So it's good that it's 18th of the Cybercast because I'm 18 years old. So this is one, connection. So or double the 18. So let's imagine that I'm as old as I'm working in the IT industry. So it's quite 18 years in the IT industry. I'm CTO and VP at Storware, and I'm responsible to execution all of the technology. I'm saying about myself that I'm taking vision into the execution. And the Storware is all about the backup and recovery. So we are the Polish vendor who are working on a backup and recovery market and selling worldwide.
Today I checked your story and I found that the Storware is 8 years old. Is it true?
Yeah, it's true. First, let's say code that we write with one of the founders was in 2013. So yeah, it's 8 years.
So we cannot say that Storware is startup, or we can?
It depends, From one side, of course, we're saying that we are not, we are moved and we took all of the good and bad things to be in a startup. And right now we definitely are not from the positioning point of view, the market perspective, because not all of our customers would like to hear, hey, this is another startup here. But from the, let's say, philosophy point of view, the way how we do work, the way how we still communicate each other, and how we are, let's say, agile, and, how we gather the pace and how fast we are from some executive things or even the development perspective, I do feel that we still, are the startup. So it depends, internally, yes. From the outside, we are near 50 people right now. We've been around in 60 countries worldwide with our platforms. So depends on the definition. So I'm in the middle, yes. But if you asking me personally, when I'm sitting in my office in my studio, yes, we are still the startup.
Okay. Today I found some market survey about backup and I found information that cloud backup is increasing yearly about 24% yearly. It means it's quite big. This is much bigger, a little bigger than cybersecurity market.
Mm-hmm.
What change await us shortly? What do you think about the nearest future? It means during next 3-4 years in this area.
Okay, so first of all, let's explain why the cloud is growing so fast. I think it's 24. It's looks really promising, but to be honest, I think because of some cloud workloads and the SaaS applications such as Salesforce, Microsoft 365, or the other platforms that they should be protected. A little bit enforcing customers to go into the cloud-to-cloud approach. So I think that's why there is a huge space where we or our competition or the whole market is going into this direction, and we are growing. What is more, there is let's say huge demand to move from the on-prem installation into the backup as a service. But honestly, what I see when we spoke with the mid-sized or the enterprise customers, I don't see that they will move so, drastically in this way. I think the cloud much more growing in the SMB and the small business area. And what will be changed significantly? We call it modern workloads. So this is a cloud. This is a container-based new architectures. This is the hybrid cloud approach. When we more and more moving our on-premise installation into managed service providers side or the public cloud providers side. So definitely, I don't see at this point revolution. I see, let's say, native path to move into the new places where the new workloads, such as containers, will demand from the backup vendors the new way how to protect this kind of resources.
Okay. Is it possible to develop good solutions in a changing and dynamic world now?
It's of course yes, but it's challenging because from one side you have, like I said already, new workloads, so the new things are already going into the industry, and the new things require the new protection methods. Like there's a huge difference how to protect the container than you protect the typical file system, for example, especially when you have a stateful or stateless way how to implement. What is more, we do not only concentrate on how to properly protect the data, but we need to also protect the way how we already store in even the backups, for example, from the ransomware attacks or the other malwares that are more and more often. So right now the challenge is that not only how to properly protect on a source way, but also how to protect the target. And there is lots of investments in the backup and recovery industry that are preventing to help the companies to achieve the additional shield of the protection, even if the ransomware occurs. And be sure that of course the backup can easily help you to get recovered in case of ransomware. But right now there is more and more cases when the ransomware not also going on the data protection data and starting to even the restoration is even more difficult because the ransomware is not only on a production side but also on a backup data. So this innovation paths us to thinking more globally of the data protection platforms as a whole solution and also as a heart, because our data is a fuel for the 21st century. And there is also a movement and innovation how to more use already stored data from the backup perspective. So 10 or 20 years ago, when we had mostly cases backup on a tape, you just stored the backup on the tapes, took the tape off to the offload location, and forgot about this data. And you did in some occurrence way, in a daily basis, weekly basis, whatever. You have some, gigabytes, terabytes of the data somewhere in the offsites. Right now, because the way how we store the data is changing drastically, for example, using the object storages as a major backup destination or the backup repository or secondary data, there is also a need to and thinking. We are lots of thinking with our customers. Okay, how we could reuse this data if we will already store it, for example, for the year or 2 or 3. Can we use it for the analytics perspective? Can we do something more? Not only set and forget how we used to do it before technology didn't give us a chance to play with it, like in object storages way.
Okay, for those of you watching us on YouTube, thank you very much for tuning in. You can request a full recording of this episode by clicking on a link below.